huge bureaucracy. By the way, another thing that Hamilton wanted, he wrote about it all the time. He wanted a massive national debt. Do you think we've got that now? It's beyond ridiculous. You know, we know that under Obama, we're looking at about a $10 to $12 trillion deficit, right? Well, guess what? That's a drop in the bucket. Right now, we've got $58 trillion in debt because of Social Security and Medicare. Now they're trying to come up with health care plans that eliminates most of that. Oh, you never hear that. It's going to eliminate it. So what we got? The Constitution is not perfect, but it is the best government plan that has ever existed in this world. Another little tidbit of trivia here. You know when the Confederate States decided to secede, you know that they copied the U.S. Constitution and they pulled out two things. General Welfare Clause and the Commerce Clause. The two things that have been most abused in our Constitution. Now another thing that you've got to understand, and I talk about this regularly on my radio show, there are no implied powers in the Constitution. None. The Constitution is a contract between us and the government. They are our subcontractors. Let's understand that. Now the next thing you got to understand is this. I'm on a side step real quick. Somebody was passing around a petition earlier, right? And God bless you. And I don't know who was passing it around, but I just saw it. And he says, I'm duty bound to the Constitution. No, he's not. We are not bound to the Constitution. The government is bound to the Constitution. It's our contract with them, not the other way around. And unfortunately, that's how we've been taught in school. Okay? Those are our unalienable rights. By the way, even Black's Law Dictionary says that unalienable rights, the definition of it is this: rights the government shall not infringe upon because they're so fundamental. Shall not. That means no, absolutely not, no, you can't do that. Every one of our unalienable rights has been infringed. We've got to take it back. Right now, Hamilton's vision and what Lincoln pushed forward is this big central government. That's what we're seeing right now. So what I highly recommend that everybody do is read read about your unalienable rights. Study it. Like they're saying, education is important because we've been taught wrong. Who runs most of the curriculum for the school system? Oh my God, it's the federal government. They want more and more power, and we got them giving our kids what they need to know, right? Do they teach them how to think for themselves, or do they teach them to the test? Oh, we've even got what, tax tests? Isn't that what they call them? This is nuts. And so we turned it over to the lunatics. So I highly recommend that everybody read the anti-federalist papers and understand this stuff. And recognize, hey, we hashed this out to keep the federal government small. Okay? By the way, taxation, direct taxation of us is unconstitutional. Unconstitutional, how did that happen? Right? Everybody says, well, the 16th Amendment. Well, even the Supreme Court, right after the 16th Amendment passed, they said it gave them no new taxing power. Where did the IRS come from? Oh, well, let's see now. The year before that, we created the Federal Reserve that has no auditing power. Right now, we've got a bill, H.R. 1207, that's supposed to audit the Fed. First of all, I think that they should have just abolished the Fed and started over. Got rid of it all. But here's what I think is going to happen. Once the American people realize that billions upon billions upon billions of their dollars have been sucked out of the United States by the Federal Reserve, and we take it back, we're going to lose. First of all, the Fed's going to be gone. Second thing is the IRS is going to be gone, and there's going to be a lot of people that may be wanting to watch for the trees and ropes hanging underneath them. Okay? Now, I'm not soft-selling this, because the fact is, no. Do I advocate violence? No. We've got a route, because we've got the plan. We've got the contract that says exactly what we can do. which comes down to my point for right now. Everybody says, what's the most powerful thing that a citizen has? And what do most people say it is? Come on, tell me. Okay, let's say it's a vote. Guess what? It's not. It's not by a long shot. That's after the fact. Where we have our right is this. And we've got to go back to history on this. And people say, well, wait a minute, you can't do this, I don't see it in the laws. Yeah, you do. Because what is the supreme law? The Constitution, the Bill of Rights. And the Declaration. By the way, you can't take the Declaration out of there. We wouldn't have unalienable rights if we didn't have the Declaration saying that we have God-given unalienable rights. Understand that? So we've got to put the Declaration in there. But here's the deal. In the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution, it says that every presentment, requires this from a grand jury. Now, people say, well, wait a minute, that's not defined any much. The reason is the founders all had this as very common knowledge. Everybody understood that the grand jury, which goes back to the Magna Carta, is there to hold the government in line. It was originally intended to keep the king in line. When the king violated their rights, they could go ahead and pull up a citizen's grand jury of 25 men. We're not talking about the 12-man criminal jury. We're talking about a 25-person jury. And what that 25-person jury does is determine if there's enough evidence that a crime has been committed to take forward. It's called true bill, or it's an indictment, or a presentment. Prosecutors are required by law in every state and in the United States government to proceed and take these presentments and move forward with the criminal trial. Obama has been indicted. Right now, he's been indicted by seven state grand juries, state level, for fraud and treason, unanimous votes that he's committed fraud and treason. He's ineligible for office, and everything he's done right now is violating the Constitution. Okay? Everything. It seems like almost every day something else he's violated the Constitution. I understand that he just paid $20 billion to move Hamas from Palestine to the United States. Now, excuse me, didn't Hamas claim to be total enemies of America? Now, giving aid and comfort to an enemy is the definition of treason. We're not talking simple just, this is gray area. No. Natural born citizen, you've already heard the definition of that. Both parents growing on American soil. No, that doesn't fit. So, citizens' grand juries, and this is what happened. I told you about this earlier. A little over 8 years ago, we started to come up with things, and I had that Constitutional Review Committee. 18 constitutional scholars sitting here talking about this stuff. I said, you know what? Every single issue we see in our society could be turned around in a heartbeat if we held our public servants accountable to their oath of office. I will say this. Our founders kind of hedged. Violating the oath of office according to Blackstone's commentaries on the English common law. By the way, that's where we got it. And it was used as the only document that the Supreme Court could refer to up until the Civil War. The War of Northern Aggression, in my opinion. Okay? But in there it says, violation of the oath of office is treason. Now, do you know, in Henderson County, right where you are, you ever heard any public servant violating their oath of office? Happens on a daily basis. Okay? So here's the deal. We came up with the idea to see the fact is we cannot count on our government to police itself, can we? That's our right, it's our duty, we're supposed to do it. A little over 100 years ago, and this is what they didn't want to let you know about. A little over 100 years ago, like I said, there's about 50 people here, 50, 70 people here. They would form up in their own community.